Warning, this radio program has been rated R for ridiculous. All listeners must be accompanied by their spirit guides.
You're listening to Haunted Voices Radio.
This is Lisa Williams, and you're listening to Haunted Voices Radio with Todd Bates.
This is paranormal researcher Gavin Goska, and you're listening to Haunted Voices Radio on the Haunted Voices Radio Network.
This is Joshua P. Warren with Speaking of Strange, and you are listening to none other than Todd Bates on Haunted Voices Radio.
This is Matthew Schultz from Para Explorer Project aboard the Haunted Queen Mary. Leave your closed mind at the door. You have entered Paranormally Entertaining Radio. Haunted Voices with Todd Bates and Phil Roll.
Symptoms of regular listening include developing a succubus complex, if male, loose bowels in high EMF environments, daytime old hag syndrome, throwing objects back at poltergeists, visitations from dead relatives collecting outstanding debts, unwanted or wanted sexual advances from unseen hands, volunteering for alien anal probing. Consult your physician before starting any paranormal program.
Welcome to Haunted Voices Radio. Haunted Voices Radio brings you education, comedy, and information from top instructors, authors, and performers in the field of the paranormal. Join Todd and Phil each week to discover tricks of the trade that will help you to develop your craft and prosper as a paranormal investigator. It has never been easier to listen and interact from the privacy of your own home. This is truly a program you won't find anywhere else. Now, here are the hosts of Haunted Voices Radio, Todd Bates and Phil Roll.
From the land beyond, from the world past hope and fear.
And a good evening, one and all. Welcome. Haunted Voices Radio Live, right here, WGOG Digital Broadcasting, on this scorching April the 25th, 2017. This month is flying by. This entire year is. It's crazy. Now, those of you that are in chat, my applause. Way to go. I commend you. Those of you sitting on your derrieres listening through TuneIn, get into chat. HauntedVoices.com. That is the place to be right now. It's actually the only place to be on the internet because Phil and I have shut everything else down on the internet. The only website you can access is www.hauntedvoices.com. Click on the live chat, log in through Facebook, Twitter as a guest. Get in there because we have an amazing show planned here for you. Yes, this is episode number 16. We have been back on the air for 16 weeks now. That's crazy. The black vans haven't even pulled up yet. Neither Phil or myself have been arrested, so we're able to show up here and give you another fine show. You guys are going to love it. Now, this first hour, we originally had Matthew Alper scheduled. Now, he's going to be back next week. He came down with an illness. He's a little sick, under the weather. Be sure, send some good positive vibes his way for a quick recovery. He's been rescheduled for next week. So what we're going to be doing is kind of switching gears. Our producer, well, that's what she does, Beverly. We're going to switch gears. We're going to have open discussion call-in night tonight. You guys wanted this. You got it. This is your chance to give us a call this hour once we open up the lines. We're going to be discussing, get this, demons. Phil and I are going to have the great demon debate. Yeah, do they exist? Do they not exist? You be the judge. We want your opinions. Post them in chat. Call in. The number to dial, of course, is going to be posted in the chat room. Those of you paying attention right now, 727-266-5962. There you go. And those lines are open. You guys are more than welcome to call in. Whoo-wee. Now, second hour, we're going to be speaking with a guest that we haven't had on in a little while. We haven't checked in with David here in a while. David Warner is going to be joining us second hour. I think the last time we had him on, Phil, was 10 years ago, 2007. And what we're going to do, we're going to discuss astral travel, leaving your body. Can you do it? Would you want to? Where would you go? Where can you go? Is it safe? Can you come back? Do you bust your ass trying to get back into your body and fall off the bed? These are the real-world problems we're going to be discussing second hour with our guest David Warner of InvisibleLight.us. Astral Travel. Talk about a cheap vacation. How you doing, Filibuster?
Pretty good, except, as usual, I can't get in the chat room.
Oh, jeez. You're getting older by the minute.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Technology just does not like you.
Well, the chat room doesn't like me. I have no problem with anything else.
Would you like
the chat room doesn't like me?
Would you like me to go ahead and air your login information publicly?
Go ahead. I don't care.
All right. What that's going to be...
This thing is pissing me off so bad. It's every damn week. Excuse my language. Every darn week.
What it is, it's your first name, which would be Phil. Now, that would be with a capital P. Then what you're going to do is you're going to space.
Yeah, I put a space.
Yeah. Then it's your last name with a capital R.
I put that.
Then you want to do the old welcome, Chief. Just one time, though. Got it? Yeah.
Okay, because you told me something else before.
Oh, I probably did. But then again...
Let's see.
You get that generic form of Geritol. It doesn't work out too good.
No, it didn't work.
You know, Phil, that's why we all love you here. Because you never know what's going to happen with you. And... the thing is, I went ahead and put that in your little comment section there, in our little cheater bar. You can go ahead and...
Okay, I've got it. That's what I was putting in. Right. Let's try it again. Hey.
Yeah, you could try it again, or you can try it without the capital, perhaps. Either way, one of those two. Well, listen, folks. We got some announcements here for you, while Phil's trying to hack into the chat room here. Now,
welcome to my life.
I want to remind you all, do not forget, we are running a contest. Now, this could get you a $50 gift card. Now, we don't know if it's Visa or MasterCard yet, whichever one's cheaper. It's going to be a $50 gift card. Now, what you need to do is go into iTunes. Now, if you have a Windows machine, it doesn't matter. You can get iTunes on that. Your Android, probably. Of course, your iPhone. Just click on Podcasts. Now, what you want to do is search Haunted Voices. That's all. Oh, you have to search. It'll come up, Haunted Voices Radio. Subscribe. Listen to one of the programs on there. There's 15 of them up there. Listen and review it. Take a few seconds. We want an honest review. It has to be an honest review. Now, it doesn't have to be a good review here. Just honest. We can accept criticism. We're grown adults here and strictly unprofessional. Now, the review needs to be in by May 29th. That's May 29th to be eligible for the $50 gift card. Then on May 30th show, we're going to announce the winner of the $50 gift card. Now, we're not buying your reviews, people. If that was the case, we would pay you per review. We're wanting you to listen to the programs because we want to see what you like, what you don't like. That's what a review is all about. Give us a review. That gets your entry for a $50 gift card. Now, another quick announcement here. I don't know if each of you have heard out there, but we're doing a magazine. Haunted Voices magazine. And we are. And we do need your help. Now, what we're doing is looking for writers. Obviously, not speakers. It's a audio. It's not an audio. It's a magazine. So, do you have a paranormal experience? Then send in your experience, and it will be featured on our Reader's Experience page. Now, is there a book you want to share? Send the book review in. Now, do you have an uncle who sleeps in a coffin? Send us an article. Now, we're also going to have psychic readings featured in the magazine. So if you have a question you would like answered, and bear with Phil and I, we both have the windows open in the studio tonight. It's nice out. You're going to hear some sirens and things, and of course, probably some seagulls in the background. Bear with, folks. It's too beautiful to leave those babies shut. Now.
Yeah, it's warm. Even up here. Up in the north, it's warm.
In the north.
If it gets too noisy, I'll close the window. I don't mind a little sweat.
No. Ew.
Gets the poisons out of your body.
What we're doing here, like I said, the psychic readings, they're going to be featured in the magazine. Now, if you have a question that you want answered, you send that question with your name and age in the email. I'll give you that email here in a second. But we want to know what you would like to be in our magazine. Now, if you're interested, contact our producer, Beverly. She's doing a phenomenal job at this magazine. And the email to contact for anything, to submit your question, content, anything you like, producer@hauntedvoices.com. Producer@hauntedvoices.com. She'll get you all the information you need. There's a few guidelines that she has set up for you. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, that's the actual release date for that. We're looking end of June, July, and we're going to be releasing that. You'll be able to access it free of charge at hauntedvoices.com. You'll be able to download the magazine. All kinds of great contributors to this so far. Beverly's putting it together very well. Matter of fact, she's going to be on here about a quarter till or so, giving you guys the rundown on the magazine and the whole gist of it. It's going to be a great little thing. You know, we got the show. This is kind of going to mirror the program, but it's going to have some behind-the-scenes things in there. Phil and I are going to write stuff. Well, Phil's going to write. I'm just going to draw pictures. But the thing is, it's going to be great, and it's free. You can download it. You can read it on your phone, wherever, and get all the latest and greatest that we put together for you. A lot of fun. Isn't that right, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see? Yeah, Phil's all
Write
over.
those things. Yeah, write those stories. Oh, I'm still fighting with the chat room, but I'm about ready to give up.
Yeah, just give it up there, Slickum.
Yeah, hell with it.
Yeah, hell with it. Yeah, so like I said, we got a great show here playing for you. David Warner's going to be on second hour tonight. We're going to be doing the Great Demon Debate. We want your opinion in chat.
Oh, yes.
You know, this is important that you folks contribute to this, because this is a live broadcast, okay? This isn't a podcast, and we don't call our past shows podcasts either, because they're not. They're archives, which means we do not touch them. It is just like listening to the live program. It's actually technically called a mechanically reproduced announcement. How's that for techie? Because we don't go in there and edit. It is what it is. It remains intact. Now, you can catch us on iTunes, of course, on iHeart as well, the iHeart app, free of charge. We're on the After Hours AM channel. But we're going to be talking about demons and things. It's a controversial discussion. And Phil and I, we agree to disagree on a lot of things. That's why we love each other, and that's probably why we both don't have hair. But that's beside the point. The thing is, we need your help. So don't just sit there. Be a part of the solution. We want you to call in or post your question in chat. If you don't want to talk about the demon thing, no worries. Throw in a subject. Phil and I will discuss it. Call in. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what these are. You guys wanted these open discussions. You want to call in and say hi? Call in and say hi. You want to call in and give a shameless plug? Give a shameless plug. It's your time. We're just here to fill some dead air. That's about it.
Well, that's the thing. I love these open discussions because that's the point. Call in about anything you want, and we'll talk about it.
Oh, geez, Phil.
If Todd and I don't know what it is you're talking about, we'll fake it.
Well, you just kicked the door
Or
open.
we'll flat out tell you, hey, we don't know what the hell you're talking about, so explain it. Whatever.
Now, these are a lot of fun. Now, first of all, we've got to fill you folks with some news. Now, I know you're watching the current events. A lot of you folks know that Korea, they're getting a little cranky over there. Little Chinaman's getting all cranky and bouncing like a little baby, threatening nuclear war and all this. Look, if it happens, duck. Okay? Just duck. I don't foresee it happening. The wall, don't sweat it, folks. Come on. We're talking a wall from California to the end of freaking Texas. Seriously? I mean, seriously. Don't sweat it, folks. We have news for you right now that matters. This is real world news. That puts this nuclear arms and wall thing to shame, because this is news that you can actually use. It's important. For example, there's a company selling Twigs as raw toothbrushes. You cannot get any more breaking than that. Now, this is a Czech company. God love the Russians. They come up with everything. Amazing over there. Now, what they've done, they've recently started selling new raw toothbrush. That's the name of it. Raw toothbrush. Call now. That has people outraged. Now, the company has started packaging and selling the Miswak Twig for $5 a piece as a toothbrush. Now, what has people so borderline furious is that the last 7,000 years, that's pretty damn good marketing, Indian subcontinent, Arab Peninsula, parts of the African and Central and Southwest Asia. Why didn't I hear this? They have been using the twig for free, and now the company is trying to make a profit by selling it. Now, the twig has been shown to clean without toothpaste, rematerialize tooth enamel, prevent tooth decay, whiten teeth, maintain pH level, and leave the user's breath smelling fresh. Now, the online community is asking the company to give credit to their product where it is due and also lower the price, since $5 seems awful expensive for a twig. Look, quit your freaking whining, people. If there was a stick out there that I could shove in my mouth and get rid of this fluoride-infested toothpaste and all this goo stuff and these toothbrush hairs that get shoved up there in your gum and cause disease and swell up, and next thing you know, your teeth fall out and you got giant pus bags hanging around. Give me a twig. I didn't know this thing existed. So I'm going to talk to the hottie. We're going to see if we can buy some of these sticks in bulk. Now, $5 is a small price to pay if you can shove a stick in your face and do everything that toothpaste and a toothbrush does. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, that's the thing. I don't understand. If this is a tree that's out there anywhere, anyway, why are they griping that this company is breaking off these twigs and trying to sell them for $5 a piece? Why don't you just go out and get one your own?
That's the thing, Phil.
Go out and get it on your own. If the trees are there, why are they upset that this company is trying to... that's like me going out and picking up cigarette butts out at the street and selling them for $1 a piece. It's ridiculous.
Hey, it's democracy, man. It's
People
capitalism.
can go out and pick up their own cigarette butts out of the street. Why would they pay me $1 a butt?
Even though it's in communist Czechoslovakia, man, that's democracy. That's like the American way-ish. Now, we don't have one of these miswalk trees out front here. If we did, I'd go pick one of the damn things off and shove it in my face. But we don't have one. So I'm actually commending these people for going out there, probably paying slave wages, to pick these limbs, package them up in some cheap bubble wrap, sending them overseas from Russia for $5. Man, take it. Take it, man. Look at this stuff that's in the toothpaste. I mean, Ariel, she buys this organic stuff. I don't know if I trust that stuff either. Anything in a plastic bottle and says organic, that kind of makes me creepy. But you get this organic stuff, that just tastes like glue. But see, what I like is that good toothpaste with the sugar. It's kind of like liquid candy. And you squeeze that on there. It's got everything bad for you in there. It slowly rots your teeth because they want you to go to the dentist because Big Pharma wants to pay for your dentures.
Well, the Dental Association pays the toothpaste companies to, put that stuff in there to rot your teeth.
Sure.
And then the Dental Association says, hey, this toothpaste is good for you.
So if a stick works, why complain? I don't know, folks. What do you think?
That's
Let us
right.
know in chat. HauntedVoices.com. Let us know in chat. Come on,
Hey,
don't be
people
afraid.
have wiped their butts with leaves
still
in the
do.
old days. And you ever hear of anybody dying from wiping their butt with a leaf?
No.
Why do we need toilet paper? There's plenty of trees out there.
Yeah. Let us know. Let us know in chat. Would you stick a twig in your face? Let us know. Let us know there. And Phil, you got something here about Travis Walton and some dirt.
Yeah. This is a little strange to me. The Travis Walton abduction is famous in UFO circles. There was even a movie made based on the story. Recently, a soil study was done in the Arizona's Apache Site-Greaves National Forest where the abduction occurred, and they came back with some strange findings. Forest Analysis Limited, the name of the company, took a soil sample where the abduction was alleged to happen in order to determine whether the sample analysis would detect any anomalies which could be related to UFOs. They're looking for something in the dirt that's, UFO something. But they also took samples from surrounding areas in order to have a control sample. The findings found that in the areas where the abduction was supposed to have happened, iron-containing particles are higher than in the control sample. Also, the samples that were closer to the surface have a higher level than subsurface soil. So it's looking like, something when that UFO landed, or it left something behind. Also, the samples showed that calcium, magnesium, and potassium were also higher at the abduction site. So the report suggests that there's a possibility for the, I don't know what this word means. Catatonic activity to have natural causes.
Kind of like you after a shot of bourbon. Catatonic.
Right. But the iron level is out of the norm. So what they're saying is basically right on the top of the ground where supposedly this UFO came down and grabbed him, the soil is weird compared to the soil around it.
I don't know.
But what I noticed is they also found soil samples taken outside of the abduction where the other guys that watched him get grabbed have a higher level of fertilizer on the top part of the soil.
Well, we tried to get Travis on the show. We got his voicemail and said he was out of the galaxy. He'll return shortly. So we're waiting for him to call back because we really do want to get him on the program because this is amazing. I know a lot of people, we've had abductions and things on here before, Phil, and it's something really amazing to talk about. And on a serious note, Travis is one to get on here because his is 1 in a million.
It is one strange story, yes.
What this guy went through. Amazing. All right. Now, if you do have some crazy news here, folks, and you have some guests you'd like to hear here on Haunted Voices Radio for Phil and I to discuss with interview, of course, email Beverly. She'd love to hear from you. Producer at hauntedvoices.com. Have the iHeart app on your smartphone. Then you have full access to Haunted Voices Radio. And we've just joined the After Hours AM channel to bring you the best in paranormal talk radio. Also, get onto iTunes. Subscribe to our show there. Don't forget to include an honest review. We'll put you in the entry. You could win $50, folks. Gotta love it. Now, when we come back, Phil and I, we're going to be taking your calls. Yes, we'll open up the lines when we come back. Jot down this number, 727-266-5962. That's also posted in chat, hauntedvoices.com. It'll be open discussion, and Phil are going to open it up. Him and I are going to have the Great Demon Debate. All of that coming up live right here, Haunted Voices Radio, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
WGOG DB Clearwater.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and in 2009 it was me, your fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when one of my embers landed on dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Haunted, a psychic story by author and radio host Ariel Grace. This is not your average book of hauntings. Haunted, a psychic story is written from a psychic perspective and contains true stories and some handy tips. Written in 3 parts, Haunted, a psychic story contains chilling adventures, advice from the archangels, and helpful tips used by Ariel Grace to clear haunted homes around the globe. Haunted, a psychic story is available on Amazon, or you can download straight to your Kindle. Haunted, a psychic story by Ariel Grace. Get your copy today.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Let's face it, the world is a crazy place, and we all need some empowering advice. It's just too crazy for some of us to bear. Just too difficult to bring ourselves to a peak of happiness, right? Wrong.
Feel like your brain is scattered and you can't focus on one thing, ask for help from your angels. Your guardian angels are there waiting for you. Ask for help.
Join your host, Rita Doman, live Thursday nights for the Just Rita Real Talk radio show. Rita will assist you in your journey by offering advice, education, and fill your soul with laughter.
We need this knowledge so that we can work our
Just
future.
Rita Real Talk radio show. Live Thursday nights, 8, 7 Central at JustRitaRealTalk.com.
It is a lot of fun. Whether, things work perfectly or not, it always works in divine timing, divine planning. Everything works out. And
Need we say more?
UFO, EVP, IR, EMF, and DVR are one BFD. To Todd Bates and Phil Roll. You're listening to Haunted Voices Radio.
24 minutes past the hour. Haunted Voices Radio is where you are. HauntedVoices.com is where you need to be also right now. Live chat is open. Just log in there through Facebook, Twitter as a guest. Get your derrieres in the room. Let's get active, folks. Get active in there. Be a part of the solution. It is your request. That's why we're here tonight. Open discussion. That's what we're having the first hour. Second hour, we're going to be joined by guest David Warner of InvisibleLight.us. We're going to be discussing Astral Travel. No, it's not gas. Astral Travel. Out-of-body experience. All that's coming up here. Now, if you missed the show, don't sweat it. We've got it archived here for you. All the episodes are going to be right there at HauntedVoices.com. We also have them on the iHeart app. You can get the iHeart Radio app for free on your smartphone. And look for us on the After Hours AM channel. And, of course, subscribe to us on iTunes. Go ahead and do it now, folks, or the puppy gets it. That's simple. Now, Phil and I, this segment here, we're going to be discussing the Great Demon Debate. Yeah, that's coming. That's coming. Now, we're going to be joined by our producer, Bev Rarick, here about quarter till, here in about, 20 minutes or so. And we're going to give you some details on the magazine. She's going to release a few things here that you guys have been waiting for. We've had a lot of email response about this thing. So it's best just to get Bev on here, put her in a hot seat. Normally she's behind the scenes, so we're going to be nice and go easy on her. Now, we do have a comment here. Now, this is from Bonnie in chat, Phil. We were talking about the twig brush.
Yeah.
Now, she doesn't put a stick in her face here, but what she's saying is, well, actually, I was using activated charcoal to brush my teeth. That'd be a little black. And it is difficult, it says here, she says, it is difficult to dispose of from your mouth since it's black. But that and peroxide was what she used for a while. Charcoal. I mean, now, I remember once, whenever I had too much booze, I think they pumped my stomach with the stuff. Getting that out, Phil, I can't even imagine. It'd be like all black and ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but charcoal does. It kills odors, it filters things, and peroxide, that's an old thing. Well, using peroxide, just rinsing your mouth with it and everything, because it's like a bleach.
Ew.
But, but it's not like real bleach.
So what do you do? Bonnie, let us know. Do you go pick up a bag of Kingsford, or do you use the Matchlight? I mean, which one do you use? Do you have to chew it? You just kind of swish it around in there? Let us know and chat with you.
I don't know. I've never tried it.
So I want to try this. Do you use the briquettes?
Charcoal's a little hard. You better have some pretty strong teeth if you're going to crunch charcoal.
That'd be fun times. But no, that's a good idea. Anything that works, because, people's teeth, especially at our age, Phil, we're like 107. They get stained, and they've got stuff from years of abuse, so you got to get it off.
Well, and that's the thing, like with mine. If I took a piece of charcoal and pushed too hard, rubbing on it, they'd fall out into the sink.
I know. You only have 3 left.
So.
There went. Now it's down to 2. I told you not to push on it. Now,
yeah, that's funny.
Phil and I were going to do the Great Demon Debate here in a second.
I don't know about the charcoal, but the peroxide I've heard of.
Yeah, peroxide, but I've also heard that eats holes in your teeth. The enamel, something. It's like acid. I don't know. Now, lines are open, 727-266-5962. That's 727-266-5962. Call now. And we do have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome. You're live on Haunted Voices Radio. Where are you calling from?
Chicago.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, Maggie.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
What's on your mind? You ready to talk about, you have a discussion you want to discuss here?
Just to say hi.
You just wanted to call in and say hi, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. Do you mind if Phil and I ask your opinion on something?
Yeah.
All right. What we have here, now Phil and I, we've been chomping at the bits to talk about this because him and I agree to disagree on a lot of things. Now, what we're going to be talking about is the great demon debate. You know, like demonic possessions and exorcisms and, you know, the whole hell thing. What do you think?
Yes.
Do you think there's demons out there, Meg?
I don't know. I mean, compared to TV shows and real life, I really don't know.
See? So she agrees with me, Phil.
First thing I got to say is, don't go by the TV shows. Because the TV shows want ratings. And if they say, we do a story about a ghost in a house, that's spooky. But if we do a demon in a house, that's even spookier. So,
okay,
don't go by the TV shows.
So, Meg, you definitely agree with Phil and I that there is good and there are bad spirits, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have a good spirit, you know, they're kind of playful. They may, you know, chuck like a flower pot at you or something. And then you have a bad spirit that you walk into the house and it kind of slaps you around a little bit, maybe sets something on fire. So because that bad spirit's going in there and kind of slapping you around like you're some kind of redheaded stepchild, do you think that that would be a demon from down under? Or do you think that that's just somebody that's just cranky?
Both.
Ooh, man, she's good, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
She's staying right on the fence. See, that's why we debate. That's why we debate. Because no one
that's
the
thing.
knows.
I remember one time we investigated a home where the guy would not sleep in the bedroom because he said a couple of times he went to bed, he felt something push him down and hold him down on the bed. You've heard of that horror story. Well,
yeah.
And
it sounds like
the first thing they think of is, okay, it's holding me down, so it's being aggressive. If it's being aggressive, it's mean. If it's mean, it must be a demon. Maybe that's a spirit that's just trying to get your attention. See?
Confused.
Instead of, yeah, maybe that's just a spirit that is trying to get your attention and you're not catching it. So it gets frustrated, so it pushes on you. It gets more aggressive to try to get your attention. Doesn't mean it's a demon.
Okay. All right, Meg. Now, you've heard Phil's side. Very, very good point, Phil. Very good point.
Very good point.
That's a good point. Now, I come from a Catholic background. Okay, now I'm not going to throw religion in the mix of anything.
Now, me too.
Okay, I know you have, Phil. That's why I love discussing this with you, because you and I, we fell from the same tree. We hit every ugly branch on the way down, too. But with this, I was an altar boy, okay? I know. Quit laughing, folks. It happened. Now, the reason, I personally, I didn't believe. I just did not feel there was any kind of demonic activity and nothing like that. Your body is your body. Nothing can get in that you do not let in. Until I had a personal experience. Not me. I wasn't, possessed or anything. But there was a time, and I can say this, there's no witnesses except for myself, so all I have is my word. Trust me, it's all I can afford. I was called out to an investigation, and this woman had been terrorized over 25 years, okay? Now, her son kept a log in a journal every day of his existence on what happened to his mother. Now, the dad, he couldn't deal with it anymore. He was a drunk, locked himself in the bedroom. No kidding, never came out. The mom, who contacted me to come help her, was stuck in the chair. She slept in the chair, the recliner. She couldn't sleep in her bed because every night this thing would come in and possess her, try to possess her. And I'm thinking, okay, this lady, she's off her meds. She's toasty. I go there, interview the nice old woman. She's a sweetheart. Brought all the things there. Of course, the rest of the team, I wouldn't let them in there. This was just me. Filmed it. Now, I had a camera sitting by the front door, directly facing her, filming it. And it was every night around the same time, this thing would try to enter her body. So I'm sitting there on the couch right across from her. Now, before she went to sleep, she had to take a medication. It was called Klonopin. Those of you that aren't familiar with that, it's what's called a benzodiazepine. It's for anxiety. It helps her sleep. So I'm sitting there on the couch. She pops the happy pill. I fire the camera up. Now, the first thing that happened was I see her dress start to move on the nightgown. Then, I kid you not, people, the camera flies across the vestibule area there, right across the floor. Gone. Tipped over, breaks the tip thing on the end. Done. Camera's done. Now, I continue to sit there, and what I see is pressure on the front of her nightgown, like something twisting, moving, and trying to get in there. And then it just stops. Okay? So I'm there for 3 days, camped out. Now, I'm going through and trying to cleanse the house myself. Holy water, oil, things of that nature, prayer, blah, blah, blah. Go down to the basement. I'm doing the sign of the cross on one of the vents in the basement. Right beside me is a little boy. Had a little Dutch boy haircut. Bib overalls, soulless, black-looking eyes. I thought it was a lady's grandkid. I look down, see a child, no concern. And I just went about my business. Go back upstairs, and of course that's when her son comes home. And he asked me if I'd saw the child yet, the kid. I said, yeah, that's is that your nephew, whatever, down there? I said, no, that's it. That's how we see it. So that's what it was. That's how it made itself known. Long story short, go through a lot of prayer, had to get some help from a couple guys in Rhode Island that were demonologists, had to get them on the phone. We had this massive session in there. Now, I kid you not. We did all of this. It was just exhausting. I threw up a few times. And when this was done, we smelled this massive, overwhelming smell of chocolate. Now get this. Chocolate of all things. Now get this. Remember, 29 years this lady was stuck in her recliner chair. That night, she slept in her bed for the first time in over 2 decades. And every year, for 4 years after, she sent me a Christmas card in the mail with $100.
Wow.
Now, that's what woke me up a little bit. Now, could that have been a cranky spirit? Sure. But with what was smelled, what happened, me throwing up by a water heater, things of that nature, that's what steered me towards something more cynical. What do you think, Meg?
Okay, one thing I will say is I don't want people to think I don't believe that there can be demonic entities. I'm just saying I've never experienced one. More times than not, I've experienced things that seemed evil or bad.
Okay.
I remember one investigation where something made people sick. They would go back in this bedroom, and we found out there was a guy who was a previous tenant who shot himself in that bedroom. So I'm thinking, okay, you got a guy that committed suicide. His spirit's here, feels trapped, is afraid to move on because of whatever consequences there might be. And he's just a very negative spirit. And people go in there and get sick to their stomach and everything else. People can jump and say demonic. So I'm not saying there isn't such a thing as something demonic, but I'm just saying I think it's hyped up.
Okay.
I think a lot more where it's just something negative, a negative spirit or an angry spirit or something gets called demonic. So just to clear that up, I'm not saying I don't believe there's such a thing as demons, but I don't think they're as prevalent as TV and movies would have you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think Hollywood kind of hypes it up a little bit. Of course, it's scary. And yes, they do throw out, they use religion as a tool. I'm sure you'll agree, Meg. They throw religion in the mix. And those of you listening, same thing. Let us know in chat. I mean, do you think that demonic possession can happen? Do you think that it is just something cranky, malevolent, a spirit? Either way, bad is bad. Bad is bad. And
negative is negative. Yeah.
Exactly. And if religion, Christianity, Catholicism, whatever. If none of that was thrown into the mix, demons wouldn't exist. Therefore, we wouldn't even think of them. We would just, we as a human species, we know good, bad, right, wrong. We try to keep it simple. And then all of this stuff was written and just complicated the bejesus out of everything. What do you think, Meg? Final thoughts on this. Do you think that this is possible? What do you think?
It could be possible, but I never experienced demon-type hauntings before. But I had some paranormal experiences, but nothing too minor. So.
All right. Well, let me compare this. A demonic possession would be similar to your mom, Michelle, getting mad. You know your mom gets cranky?
Yeah, she's over my shoulder right now.
Yeah, I know she is. Same thing. It's the same thing. The exact same thing. That's kind of what it feels like. Just saying.
Yeah, the only thing is, your head might spin around or something like that. That's a sign that's a sign. Yeah, if your head turns all the way around, that's a sign that you might have a problem.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I enjoy about it. It's a conversation. Like Cindy's saying, she believes that there's some of that out there, as well as humans acting like them. That makes complete sense because we're humans. We can manipulate things, and it's craziness. But what I enjoy talking about it because so many people throw religion in the mix, and you kind of have to step that aside. You've got to leave that out because that's something that religion is something we created, and obviously those two areas, this heaven and hell scenario, those were there far before we were. And any time man gets in the middle of anything, all we do is jack it up. We're going to mess it up somehow. We're going to appease it to where we instill fear or make financial gain from it. And that's a lot of what happened. There is a lot of hype about it. Things do happen out there, don't get me wrong. But look, people, there's only one way to find out the truth. No one's in any hurry to get there. That's not something that's going to be revealed in life. I'll tell you what, if we go before, if Phil and I figure out a way to get through to you guys on the other side, by God, we'll do it. We'll break all the rules. You know that. I mean, heaven doesn't want us. Hell's afraid we're going to take over. That's our problem.
But the other thing is, too...
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, the other thing is, too, with all this, I've had people where I went into a store and I was buying, videotapes and everything, and people were saying, "What are you doing?" I'm saying, "Well, I'm going out to investigate a haunted place." And they said, "That's bad. You're going to have something bad come after you doing that." It's like, no, I'm not. All I'm doing is trying to find out what's going on and talk to other people. Positive brings positive, negative brings negative. So it's all in how you approach things. If you have a negative attitude, you're going to bring negativity. If you're positive about things, then you're going to bring positive things.
Bingo.
So that's why I don't worry about getting possessed, because I believe in God. I'm positive about things. I mean, sometimes it's hard to be because, life can kick you in the butt. But you be positive about things, and that's what comes along.
Of course. Well said,
Phil. Worshiping Satan and killing cats and things like that. Well, yeah, bad things are going to happen to you because you're asking for it.
Oh, that's so sweet, Phil. That's fun for the whole family.
Yeah, you get what you ask for.
All right, Meg, thank you so much, hon, for calling in and being a part of this discussion. You really added a lot to it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, yeah.
Take
Thanks
care,
for calling.
That was Maggie right there, folks. Yeah, see, we needed that. We needed that third perspective in here. So that's a good thing there, Phil. Now, we've got David Warner coming up here, second hour, folks. Astral Travel, that's what we're going to be discussing, out-of-body experiences. Now, he's a professional at it. He's been doing it for years. Can you lay in bed and get in such a spiritual and meditative state that you can literally leave your body and travel elsewhere, wherever you want to go? All that's going to be coming up second hour with David. Now, we've got Beverly coming up here in just a few minutes. Now, what she's going to do, she's going to be discussing the new magazine. We're going to answer some questions. You guys have had a lot of questions coming in, so we're going to be speaking with her about that, the new magazine coming out. It's fun times. But, Phil, the whole, this demon debate, you and I have talked about this several times. We've had some of the best demonologists, on here, some of the best skeptics on this program. And you know what? Neither one of them they've yet to give us an absolute. There just isn't one, right?
Well, no, there never is, even with paranormal investigation. I mean, has anybody ever come up with a picture or a video or an EVP that convinces everybody that there is an afterlife, that sometimes spirits do linger here? I think it's one of those things where we're never going to really know for sure. We keep trying, and we keep getting shown things, and I think maybe that's to let us know that there is something else.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're meant to figure it all out.
I completely agree. I don't think we're supposed to.
We keep trying, but,
Keep on keeping on, you. That's all you can do. If we're meant to know, we'll know. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But we do have a survey. We do this each week, of course, and what we want you to do is post your answer. Answer a simple yes or no in the chat room at hauntedvoices.com. Yes or no in chat. Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Have you ever had an out-of-body experience? Let us know in chat. We'll get them tallied up here at the end, let you know at the end of the show. Just a simple yes or no. Have you ever had one? Now, if you want to reveal your story, by all means, go right ahead. We'll air it if you let us. Because next hour we're going to be...
That's something we'll be asking David, because I have read that you can do that in your sleep. Somebody who's never had any experience with it can be asleep and dream and actually leave and go somewhere. But you wake up thinking it was a dream.
You never know what's going to happen. That's coming up second hour. David Warner coming up next. Beverly Rearick, our illustrious, wonderful producer, she's going to be joining us here. We're going to be discussing some magazine things here. You guys are going to love this and how you could be a part of it. We're accepting content. We want you to be a part of this new project. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. Haunted Voices Radio Live, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
WGOG DB Clearwater. When a child is abducted, every second counts. That's why this station uses the Internet Radio Amber Alert System, helping to keep your children safe. A free service of the Internet broadcasting community and this station.
Of course he believes in reincarnation. Just look at his radio career. Here's Todd Bates with Phil Roll on Haunted Voices Radio.
The metaphysical. What is it? Are there universal influences assisting us in our daily lives?
Stop counting. Stop counting the bad stuff and stop counting the good stuff, because if you're trying to weigh it out, that's being conditional, and we'll be talking more about conditional love.
Of course. Join your host, Ariel Grace, live Sunday nights, 8, 7 Central, on A Gang of Girls Radio.
Peeps mistake this for setting up boundaries and stuff like that, but it's that scale of, well, if he loves me, he's going to...
Find answers to relationship issues, your past and future, and some helpful tips on ways you can clear those nasty goo and cooties which interfere with your daily life.
We set aside all of our kind of maybe goo and cooties.
If you're confused and need insight,
express our love for each other,
then look no further than A Gang of Girls radio show with host Ariel Grace. Live Sunday nights, 8, 7 Central at agangofgirls.com.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
48 minutes past the hour. Haunted Voices Radio Live right here. WGOG Digital Broadcasting. Get your butts off the couch, people. Get into chat. Now, if you're driving a car, don't get into chat, please. Just continue to listen through Tune In. We thank you for that. Now, if you do want to get into chat, please pull over. Log in through Facebook, Twitter as a guest. You guys are putting some really neat comments in there. Very interesting comments. I know, the whole demon thing, it kind of freaked a lot of you people out. But you know what? These are things that have to be discussed. Things are taboo. It's the paranormal. It's not normal. We're not going to sit here and talk about how to knit and crochet, people. We try and cover these topics to get your opinions. This is a safe place for all of us where you can get your opinion out there. We want to know what it is, and we respect what it is. That's simple. Have fun with it, too. You got to make light of some of these dark situations. Now,
That's
remember...
Right. You got to have some fun sometimes, even talking about things that are a little creepy.
Slightly creepy. Now remember, next hour, David Warner, we're going to be discussing out-of-body experiences, astral projection, where you can go. Hey, sounds like a cheap vacation, people. Let's pay attention. See how you can do this. Can anybody learn it? How does David do it? These are things you're going to learn next hour, so you definitely want to stay tuned. Hey, call up your aunts and uncles, get them on the line. Trust me. Mom and dad having a bad time. They got a pretty shaky marriage going on. They want to get away but can't afford it. Have them listen second hour. Maybe we can get them some time off here. But right now, we've got a special treat for you. Now, this is something that you're probably never going to hear again, and that would be our amazing producer, Beverly Rearick. Now, she does a lot of behind this. If it wasn't for her, Phil and I wouldn't know what to say. The teleprompters, that's all we know. This is all scripted, folks. We don't, we memorize everything. It's a script. It's 46 pages for one show. It's a script. And we have to say this, or Bev will call the police. It's that simple. We have a contract with her. So we have to read everything she writes on here, period. And then, that's how it works. Everything's peaceful. No, Bev, she plans a show.
I'll be honest. I print up the sheets of what Bev writes, and then that's what I use when I do the shoe.
Ha, ha, ha.
Show.
Ha, ha. Too funny, Phil. I can't believe you actually said that. Phil.
Phil laughs. Ha, ha.
We don't script anything here. We don't script it, people, honest. No, what Beverly does, she does all the legwork. She gets you all these amazing guests. She comes up with these topics for us to discuss. She calls the police. She bails us out of jail. She does a lot of different things in the background, okay?
She lines everything up for us, and then we go on the air and speak live and make fools of ourselves.
Bingo. There are two people that we have, and if we didn't have them, this show would not operate in any way, shape, or form. One of them is Beverly. The other one is Cindy in chat. Without them, Phil and I would have nothing. Nothing. So we thank you. And we have to give you guys the respect and the credit where it's due there. Now, we do have a project here. Beverly has been working very hard on this. You guys have been mailing in questions, all these ideas and content and this. Does it have this? And when are you going to do this? We're talking about the new Haunted Voices magazine. Now, we're going to answer some questions. Bev's going to let us know what the hell it is and when it's due and what's going to be in it. Bev, welcome to your show.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, this magazine thing. Now, you approached Phil and I about this magazine. You had an idea for this magazine, which is a great idea. I never thought of it myself because, well, I like to run my mouth, not read. But the magazine. Why a magazine?
Mainly the reason I thought of the magazine was because doing all the work I do for the show, there's all this information I gathered that doesn't really show up in the show, and I just thought there needed to be another way to give this information to everyone.
Are you referring to the things Phil and I screw up?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. You guys never screw up. You guys are perfect every week.
You haven't been recording our conversations with our meetings every week?
No, but those would be interesting.
Those are criminal. But anyway, the magazine itself, what kind of content is going to be in there? What are we looking at?
We're basically looking at pretty much what we have on the show is what we're going to have in the magazine. We're going to have the typical paranormal stuff, ghosts, UFOs, conspiracy theories, cryptozoology, all that. But we also just want stuff that is not considered normal, just like for the show. So it's going to be kind of like an extension of the radio show, but in print format or digital format.
All right. That's a great idea. And you've got some contributors here, and we're looking for more. What are some things we're looking for? I mean, you've got some content already. What are some things people can expect here, and what kind of things else do you need, Beth?
The things that they can expect so far, we've gotten some really good article ideas. There's going to be one on the Aztec UFO crash.
Ooh, Phil, you remember that. I think you were alive back then, right?
I was there. I was one of the Aztecs.
Okay, all right. I thought so. Go ahead, Beth.
We're going to have articles about behind the scenes so people get to see kind of what goes on when you guys aren't on the air.
Oh, God.
So
that means I have to wear pants?
Go ahead.
I got to wear pants?
Yes, you have to wear pants.
Proceed.
Oh, boy, bummer, Todd. You're not used to that.
We're going to have some really good columns. We're working on one where questions for a psychic are going to be answered. We have one called Entering the Dream Sphere by Danielle Winters, and that's going to be talking about your dreams. And, of course, Todd's better half is also writing a column for us, which I'm really excited about. But what we're looking for, we're looking just for articles that has to do with the paranormal. And if you want to send any reader experiences in, we're going to do a whole page of just like short little experiences that people that listen to the show and that will eventually read our magazine, that they can just include that and share with the world.
So what this will be is kind of like a magazine for the listeners, by the listeners.
Pretty much.
I like that.
That's what we're hoping for.
I like that, Phil.
Yeah, and I was thinking, is there a possibility that if somebody writes in a story about some strange experience, that maybe Todd, maybe you or me might write back and give an opinion and, respond back? And what I'm saying is, am I allowed to write anything? Or
we have to, Phil. It's mandatory. Well, you have to write. Bev mailed me crayons. Every week I have to do. Yeah. I have to do a picture from the editor guy. I'm working on my stick people. I've got the big jumbo crayons though, but you have to write. I'm no writer.
Okay.
Yes. We're hoping to have a letter from Todd and Phil.
Okay, my wife was asking about that. She said, are you going to be able to ever write anything for this? And I said, well, I don't know.
We have to. It's mandatory. Okay, Phil.
Okay, fine with me. Yeah.
Mandatory. No, it's going to be fun.
So mean.
No, yeah, absolutely. We you and I have to. We're going to contribute to it. Every issue will have something in there, either a past experience, tip, whatever. And if somebody asks you or I a question in there, we answer it in there. Now, this magazine, it's going to be free, and you're going to be able to download it on the website. I'm going to build the web page for it. You'll be able to go there, download it. Now, it's going to be in like a PDF format or something, Bev?
Yes, PDF.
And any smartphone, computer browser, will open that these days.
Yep.
All right, so it's going to be fancy. Yeah, we're going to have fun with this. So if they want to contribute or if they have any questions for you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Just send me an email, producer@hauntedvoices.com.
Producer@hauntedvoices.com. And
yep.
And now I have to wear pants.
Yep, sorry.
No more Stewie boxers, Phil.
Oh, wow. That's going to be rough.
Which is absolutely, literally what I am wearing right now. Stewie boxer shorts and on the King of the Grill shirt. It's exactly what I'm wearing right now. Yeah, try to unsee that, folks. All right, Bev. So,
well, see, that's the thing. Now, see, I always wear long pants because with my hernia, if I wear shorts, I'm going to get arrested.
Oh, it's like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Now, did I say that out loud?
No, sure. Absolutely, Phil. And look at them. They're dropping like flies. Thanks, buddy. All right, Bev, now.
Sometimes I'm just too honest.
Absolutely. It's senility, buddy. It'll pass. Now, with this producer at HauntedVoices.com.
Yeah, Geritol. I don't know. I got to double up on that shit.
It's okay, Pappy.
See?
All right, Bev. Thank you. No, listen, thank you so much for everything you do. We definitely want to thank you publicly for that. Thank you so much for everything you do. We wouldn't be here without you.
You're welcome. You know I enjoy it.
Well, I'm glad. We enjoy having you, and we wouldn't be able to make it without you.
Oh, we really appreciate you. You do so much for us.
And thank you so very much, Bev, producer at HauntedVoices.com. Bev, you're amazing. We love you.
Thank you.
Now, you folks stay tuned. What we're going to do here, second hour coming up here in just a few minutes. Right now, you got to get the latest news. Hey, let's see who's winning this North Korea U.S. thing going on. Yeah, Fox is going to tell us because they're fair and balanced. Now, David Warner's coming up next. Astral Travel. Can you leave your own body, travel elsewhere? Is it easy to learn? Can anyone do it? That's what you're going to find out second hour. Join us in chat, hauntedvoices.com. Get in there right now, folks. Facebook, Twitter, as a guest. You will have questions. And if you have questions you want to call in, we'll still leave those lines open for your questions about astral travel only, of course, okay? No more open discussion. That was first hour. We're switching gears. David Warner, InvisibleLight.us. Coming up next, you're listening to Haunted Voices Radio, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WGOG Digital Broadcasting.
Fox News Radio, I'm Kathleen Maloney. President Trump backs off a campaign promise in hopes of helping lawmakers reach an agreement to fund the government.
Taking the border wall off the table for now seemed to ease tension in the talks, and the hope is a deal can be struck. The Senate Democratic leader took credit for setting that campaign promise aside.
Senator McConnell wanted me to negotiate the wall with President Trump. I said to him two things. First, it's not a negotiation, no wall. And second, I said only you can persuade him that he shouldn't do the wall because it'll cause a government shutdown.
Some Republicans are blasting Schumer and other Democrats for voting in 2013 to commit about $40 billion to border enforcement measures as part of comprehensive immigration reform. But now they're resistant to President Trump's call for the wall at the border.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. A federal judge in San Francisco has blocked the president's executive order to withhold funding from sanctuary cities. U.S. District Judge William Orrick calling it overreach by a president and attorney general who don't understand the Constitution or choose to ignore it. The Trump administration is set to release a tax plan this week, but Republican leaders aren't expecting it to be an easy sell.
I think it's pretty clear we're going to have to use a reconciliation vehicle because today's Democratic Party is very different from the Democratic Party in the 80s, which was actually interested in pro-growth tax reform.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Canada's prime minister is warning of what he calls a thickening border with the United States as trade tensions escalate. The U.S. has imposed new tariffs of up to 24% on lumber entering the U.S. from Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his country will vigorously defend the interests of its lumber industry. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced. An Arizona prisoner is convicted of a gruesome slaughter. Many years ago, a jury finding Preston Strong guilty of murdering his best friend, the man's girlfriend, and her 4 young children. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, which the jury will begin considering Friday. Strong is already serving a life sentence for a separate slaying. Talks in Austria concerning a controversial deal with Iran.
The signatories of the Iran nuclear agreement are meeting in Vienna, and for the first time, the United States under the Trump administration has joined them. The State Department says the new administration is reviewing the Iran nuclear deal, though in the meantime, it will adhere to it. The European Union says the countries involved in the deal and attending the Vienna meeting noted their continued adherence to the nuclear agreement. The Trump administration contends Iran is violating the spirit of the agreement by developing missiles and funding terrorism. Iran says it is complying. At the State Department, Rich Edson, Fox News.
One of the Fab Four will be performing in the New York region.
Can't keep a good Beatle down. Paul McCartney is hitting the road again. The 74-year-old rocker is bringing his one-on-one tour to New Jersey and New York City. And for the first time ever, McCartney will perform at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey on September 11th. A few days later, he hits Madison Square Garden on September 15th, then crosses the bridge for a show at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn on September 19th, ending his 4-show Northeastern swing at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island on September 26th. Tickets go on sale to the general public at 10 a.m. May 5th. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Workers are scrambling to complete the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta by early August. Ongoing roof issues have caused the delays. The main challenge, installing 8 steel plates for the retractable roof. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Live Tuesday nights, 8, 7 Central. Are going to love this guest. Those of you that have never heard about Roswell, you won't be able to say that tomorrow. After a 4-year disappearance due to alien abduction, Todd Bates and Phil Roll return to host Haunted Voices Radio.
We don't have to think as much as we used to.
No, we can't. I mean, we think too hard, we wet ourselves. So we have to be careful at our age. We already get up and go to the bathroom now 3-4 times a night, Phil. I mean, it's been years. The para-comedy duo bring you jaw-dropping discussion on topics such as aliens, ghosts and hauntings, conspiracies, and the just plain bizarre. Usually you see cats and little bunnies on there, but this was a picture of a demon. Anyway, listen live Tuesday nights, 8, 7 Central at hauntedvoices.com. The return of Haunted Voices Radio. This is going to be phenomenal. Oh, God. Here they go again.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Top of the hour, you're listening to Haunted Voices Radio right here, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. Welcome to the second hour. Now, join us in chat. HauntedVoices.com. Those of you just tuning in, that's the place to be right now. You can log in through Facebook, Twitter as a guest. Unless you're listening on TuneIn, roaming around the car, don't worry, folks. You're good. And we've got everything covered. All the archives, you'll find those. HauntedVoices.com. And listen to us, download the free iHeart radio app. Just search After Hours AM. That's a channel we're on iHeart. And, of course, subscribe to us on iTunes. We'd love to have you. Drop that review. Get your chance for $50. Now, what we're going to be doing here, you're going to love this. We're going to be talking with David Warner. Now, on July 27, 1987, he experienced an event that forever changed his way of thinking and maturity. Now, such that included life after death, self-realization, and a spiritual awareness. Now, this has helped him facilitate in-depth documenting and scientific research into OBE, or out-of-body experiences. It's definitely a gift from God to explore thousands of experiences and allowing him to share his story. You're going to love this. Astral Travel, we're going to get into all kinds of amazing things here. Post your questions in chat. Put those in all capital letters. And the lines will be open here after the first break, 20 after. And that number to call is going to be 727-266-5962. That'll also be posted in chat if you have any questions for David. Now, this is just going to be questions pertaining to Astral Travel only. The open discussion was first hour. That's in the past, folks. We're in the future. Welcome to the show, David. Great to have you back.
Hey, Todd. How you doing?
Wow. So many things have changed. I mean, it's been a long time. Phil and I, we took a hiatus. You know, we had to, leave. We had to leave ourselves, kind of research, rekindle, restart the fire. But regardless, here we are. We missed the show. We love the show. And, of course, we wanted you back on here. And your story is an amazing story. It's your abilities. They're phenomenal on what you do. And it's just it's very interesting to hear. Now, you were, and I'm going to say the listener's name because you're one of their favorite guests on the show. And he's listening right now, Stephen Wren. Absolutely blown away. He's listening. He knows you're back and definitely wanted to hear everything here. But David, first of all, we've got a lot of different listeners, new listeners here, of course. We've had you on the show several times. Kind of explain to the folks a little bit about yourself and what astral projection, out-of-body experiences, what those are.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's definitely a pleasure. It's always a great time and opportunity to share my experiences and the research that I've done over 25 some years now, since '87. And going back to those times, I actually heard about astral projection through a friend of mine back in Detroit. And I was over at his house that night, and I was working on some homework, playing guitar or something like that. And he had said something about astral projection. And I'm like, what is this? He was reading a book, too. And this book cover had a woman who was sleeping, clothed, and then you could see a phantom image of her naked out of her body.
Whoa.
So I'm like, what type of pornography are you reading here? Share the wealth.
Sounds kind of hot, David.
And then he told me, this is astral projection. I'm like, what is that? And then he explained the ability to be able to shift our consciousness, our physical consciousness, into our spiritual body, our astral body, as it's known. Okay? And that really caught me right then and there. I'm like, wait a minute here. Either this guy is doing some really great drugs, or this is a great book that he's reading that's all psychedelic and what have you, or he's telling me the truth. And my friend was definitely on the level with me that night, and he wouldn't lie about it, because we, after that discussion, it went into the midnight hours, and then that's all I could think of is this legitimate? Is it real? How am I able to do this? So the next day, back in '87, I'm like going online, local BBS boards, mind you, dial-up modem, 1200 baud, posting around town, just asking, hey, does anybody know about this? Then I went to my local library, and then I found an outlet in Berkeley, Michigan, called the Mayflower. And they had a wide array of subjects on, the cult, Satanism, Buddhism, sorcery, magic.
Sounds like fun for the whole family.
In that little corner, we had astral projection. So I bought something like 30 books that day. And then from there, it was just like one particular book I just could not put down. And, flash forward a couple months after reading and reading and reading, I got to this one book, and as I kept talking to my friend, discussion, and online, and with family, friends, relatives, I was working at Blockbuster Video at the time. I would ask customers coming in, hey, have you ever had an out-of-body experience? They would look at me like, oh, that's just fake. And they'd be like, huh, what? But I was so driven to find out if this was real or not. I mean, I can read the literature. I can read all these experiments that was done back in the 70s and current 80s, but I had to experience this myself. I want to emphasize that you have to experience it yourself versus listening to me and whatever I share take that home with you, research it, and learn, and then experience it yourself, then draw your conclusions if it's real or not. For me personally, that first experience was it. It defined everything, that moment of life and death, that this is the real thing. But still, later years in life, I still scientifically challenge it. And it still keeps proving to me time after again that this is valid. There's a lot more behind the curtain that we don't know, and this is valid. So, with the first experience, I was reading this book by Janet Lee Mitchell, Out-of-Body Experiences. And it's just one of those books you just can't put down.
Right.
You got to read it to the beginning to the end, and then once you're done with the end, you want to read it again because you want more and more and more. Well, this particular book, and I'm not an avid book reader. I like listening to audio tapes, podcasts, all that. So, mind you, flash forward about 2-3 months after my awareness of astral projection that my friend shared with me, as I had my first out-of-body experience. This was, I think, like around in July. And at the time, we had a flood at my mom and dad's house and where I was living with my parents. And so for Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, we were just cleaning the garbage, everything, out of the basement and the sewage, you name it, cleaning it out. We were just so tired. And then it gets to Sunday, we finally finished the project. But during that whole process, mind you, I'm reading this book after book, just going up, downstairs, and just so into it. And then around that time, I kind of started to fall to skepticism. Is this real or is it not? And then from there, it happened. And I kind of started to, it was about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and my mom, my dad, and my brother, they went off somewhere out of the house. I think they went for lunch or whatever the case, and I stayed behind for some reason. I don't know what it was, but it was just, I decided to stay behind. And then I started to think that day, well, hey, let's try projecting. And then I'm like, at the time, I'm like, wait a minute, you tried for the last 2-3 months, nothing happened then. So I'm like, okay, I'm tired, so let's just take a nap.
Well, I can imagine.
So during that time, as I'm in the basement, it's dark in the room, the door's shut, and from there, I started to fall into the trance state, the border between awake and sleeping, that in between. And when I got into that state, and mind you, I didn't think about projecting. I kind of gave up on it. And I kept thinking about that book constantly. And as I started to drift into that state, keeping my mind somewhat awake while I drifted into that hypnagogic state, I felt as I was getting up but rising like a floating sensation, kind of drunk, but extremely, extremely highly alert and conscious.
Okay.
And then I started looking around, and everything's completely daylight. It's the lights are on, and I'm looking at the bed, and I see this big apple on the bed, and I'm like, "What the heck is
apple?"
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know why it was there, and I'm like, I was really confused. And I didn't realize I was actually out of body at the time, okay?
Uh-huh.
Completely confused. And so from there, I'm like thinking, oh, wait a minute. The book. I want to keep reading this book. And, I'm just nonchalant, just carrying out my task of trying to put on my shoes. Each time I tried putting my shoe on, my hand kept passing through the tennis shoe that I was trying to put on. And it still didn't hit me that, hello, you're out of body. And I just got really upset, and I said, screw it. I'm just going to go for this book. I'm going to, walk over this old dusty floor. I'm going to grab this book. I'm going to read it in bed, and then I'll probably just, fall asleep with it. Well, as I started to drift, apologize. as I started to drift, I started getting pulled backwards. And that's where I lost all my, the whole movement of the astral body. Just, it felt like I was kind of like drunk at the same time, being up and down. But I started falling backwards, and then that's when the fear kicked in. And then that's where the astral cord pulled me back into the body, slamming me so hard in to the body. I woke up, complete darkness, sweating, heart racing 100 miles an hour, and just freaking out, like, what the heck happened here? Didn't know, just totally blindsided me. And then the first thing I could think of is just running for the door, upstairs, to the lighted kitchen, to the lighted world around me, down the hallway to my room. And when I got to my physical room, I'm in physical world back, now, and I realized I had my first out-of-body experience. And from that moment on, it's like, I want to learn this. I want to learn more. I want to do what it takes to actually be able to project, to be able to do this at will or when I want to. And for the last 25-some plus years, I've been able to do a lot with it.
And what we're going to do, now that we've heard the experience, we're going to get into detail, what it felt like, what he saw, where he continues to go, and also get into some issues. Trouble with alcohol in the past, how it affects astral travel, your spiritual well-being, all of that coming up next. Stay tuned. HauntedVoices.com. Log in to chat. Facebook, Twitter, as a guest. Get your butts in there. Post those questions. You're listening to Haunted Voices Radio right here, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
WGOG DB Clearwater. Haunted, a psychic story by author and radio host Ariel Grace. This is not your average book of hauntings. Haunted, a psychic story is written from a psychic perspective and contains true stories and some handy tips. Written in 3 parts, Haunted, a psychic story contains chilling adventures, advice from the archangels, and helpful tips used by Ariel Grace to clear haunted homes around the globe. Haunted, a psychic story is available on Amazon, or you can download straight to your Kindle. Haunted, a psychic story by Ariel Grace. Get your copy today. Let's face it, the world is a crazy place, and we all need some empowering advice. It's just too crazy for some of us to bear. Just too difficult to bring ourselves to a peak of happiness, right? Wrong.
Feel like your brain is scattered and you can't focus on one thing, ask for help from your angels. Your guardian angels are there waiting for you. Ask for help.
Join your host, Rita Doman, live Thursday nights for the Just Rita Real Talk radio show. Rita will assist you in your journey by offering advice, education, and fill your soul with laughter.
We need this knowledge so that we can work our
Just Rita Real Talk radio show. Live Thursday nights, 8, 7 Central at JustRitaRealTalk.com.
It is a lot of fun. Whether, things work perfectly or not, it always works in divine timing, divine planning. Everything works out. And
Need we say more?
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and in 2009 it was me, your fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when one of my embers landed on dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a child is abducted, every second counts. That's why this station uses the Internet Radio Amber Alert System, helping to keep your children safe. A free service of the Internet broadcasting community and this station.
And, of course, 23 minutes past the hour, Haunted Voices Radio Live, right here, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. Now, those of you just tuning in, you missed the first part of the show. Don't worry, of course. We've got you covered. You can listen to all the past programs. You can find everything right there at hauntedvoices.com or on the iHeartRadio app, free of charge, on the After Hours AM channel. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Post an honest review. Your chance for $50, you can win it. Yes, you can. It has to be an honest review. And want to let you know that next week we're going to be talking with Reverend John Polk, who holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in metaphysics from the University of Sedona. Now, this university granted John a title of International Metaphysical Minister after his studies were completed. Now, John is also a Reiki master and an instructor in Usai Reiki. He is the founder of Wolf Spirit Ministries, LLC. Now, in addition to all of this, John was gifted with the ability to be a channel and a medium. And during the second hour, well, we're going to be having returning guest Matthew Alper, the God part of the brain. All of that next week, Haunted Voices Radio. Right now, of course, we're talking with none other than David Warner, InvisibleLight.us. And we're going to take your questions and comments there in chat. So get them loaded up, post them in all capital letters so Cindy can get them right over here to us. Don't be shy, folks. No such thing as a stupid question. Welcome back, David.
Hey, how you doing?
Whew. What an interesting, that was an amazing opening right there with about the out-of-body experience. That's very, very hard to relate to. And we're going to get into, you know, some of the things that you've seen, what others can see, how they can do this. A lot of these things are coming up. But right now we've got a couple questions here from chat. One of them to you, David, is do you think deja vu is really astral projections that you really have experienced during sleep?
Yeah, I never really thought about that. I mean, maybe it could be a reflection of it. Really never thought about it, honestly. You know, just the other day, actually about a week ago at work, I was in a certain similar situation where a coworker sitting right next to me, and we're acting out a certain type of event with working with a customer or on a project, and it just stopped me in my tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to think about that. I'm like, you know, did this exist prior to this? And I'm like, you know, I would have to really kind of, you know, you don't know when that deja vu experience is going to happen. And when it does, it kind of takes you by the side and say, hey, you know, did I dream this?
Yeah, you kind of stop for a minute.
Is it possible that I actually exercised this in the astral body unconscious, so much semi-conscious, and that experience is coming through? Maybe there was a flicker of like precognition there, you know, future. So I never really went that far, but that's an excellent question.
Yeah, it is, and that's something that, definitely do some research. If you guys find the answer to that question, great question, let us know there in chat. We have another one here from Bonnie in chat. Is there any chance, David, if you experience astral travel, that you won't be able to return?
Well, let's just put it this way. I'm still here. Thank God.
Yeah, you've been there and done that, a lot of them.
Well, that's something that I read, that there's like an umbilical cord, and that cord can get snapped or something, and then you might not come back. I don't know if that's true or if it's just, you know, hype.
I have seen the cord in quite a few of my experiences, and it's called like the silver cord.
That's it.
Yeah, and so, in one of my experiences, I was at the time living in Granville, Michigan, and I was out of body, and I went outside our back of our house, and I remember being pulled back to the body, and I started kind of going through the wall, through the garage, through the door, and then I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to hang on to this this object here, like this door, this panel, as I'm just, you know, being pulled back in. Now, don't know how, but I was able to embrace myself up against the wall. And as I was looking back at the physical body, I could see that cord. And it reminded me exactly of a like wire, Like, you see those telephone wires, how they're wrapped. If you open it up, it looked like that. And I was able to actually touch it and feel the texture of the cord, and it was like extremely strong in strength. And before you know it, bam, I'm back in the body with a headache, and just like, darn. I didn't want to get pulled back, but, I returned.
Wow.
But that's what it looked like when I saw it various times.
Okay.
But to answer the actual question, honestly, if you couldn't get back, then you would be dead, literally.
Yeah, you'd kind of be dead, or in maybe some kind of catatonic or coma state. I wouldn't know. I mean, it's something I've never done that. I know it's you have to be at a really high vibration to do something like that. We're going to get in more detail here in a moment, but you have definitely been successful at it. Yeah,
in the scriptures in the Bible, they do explain about, when the cord is severed, that ends your life, and I'm not sure exactly what passage, but that was recorded in the Bible, and then throughout different people who've actually traveled, astral projection-wise, they've seen that as well, too, and it's been, noted, documented throughout the ages on that. So there's definitely something there. And, bearing first witness of seeing it in the experience, it definitely has, it definitely has some pull with me personally because, of my experiences. Now, as for not being able to return, now I don't want to instill, a fear factor of projecting. Now, mind you, when I actually started to track my experiences, I broke them down between Sunday to Saturday, what my favorite times of projecting were, not based on when I wanted to project, but the times I projected. And then I also broke it down with yearly statistics. I also broke it down by when I would go to sleep, when I would wake immediately. I'd also break it down from if it was coming from a dream to an OBE, from a false awakening, or a conscious OBE, along with vibrations. And so over a course period of this document from 2005 and 2015, mind you, 2005, when I actually started to truly document, and I started to build up a lot more momentum because prior to 2005, I was focusing more on career and other things in my life. But once I started getting back into projection, 2005, I projected 61 times for the year.
Wow.
And then 2006, I did 113 experiences. And then 2007, 130. And then, I started getting a little tired here. And then other elements of started to come in with abuse with alcohol, which 2008 I did 88, then 2009 73, and then up to 2010 to 2015 73, 40, 28, 21. It just kept going down.
Jeez, talking about saving a lot of money on vacations.
Alcohol.
Yeah, talking about saving a lot of money on vacations. That's amazing, right there, David.
Yeah,
your abuse, your trouble with alcohol in the past.
To get back to the whole question, I mean, I had projected literally over, let's see, a period of 10, 15 years of 405 times.
Damn.
And I still made it back. And yes, there were some negative experiences along the way, and I just confronted it and just worked through the situation and returned.
So, with the trouble that you had with the alcohol, I mean, how did that how did that state of mind that puts you in, how did that affect your out-of-body experience? Did it at all?
Oh, it took me straight down the drain, without a doubt.
Did it make them less intense, none at all, less frequent?
Less frequent, the desire to project. Not caring anymore.
Okay.
And what am I doing this for? And, back in 2005, 2006, 2007, I mean, I'm doing over 100 plus a year in experiences. And then later it's going down to 40, 21, 22. Not that numbers mean anything to me, but for documenting the experiences when they actually occurred throughout the time of the day of my sleep cycle, I wanted to know. I wasn't like I was trying to meet a number, for a year. I wasn't trying to produce a number. It just happened that way, and I was very successful of learning how to actually project and having that ability to document that.
Mm-hmm.
With the alcohol, it just, like I said, it took me down physically and mentally, but with the projections, I mean, being intoxicated, you're likely less to have an experience of astral projection. Not to say that you cannot induce OBEs through other means of narcotics or alcohol, but your chances are against you on this. And so, 2015, pretty much, I got to the point where it's like, I just did 17 experiences. I just took them as it is. And, I finally, after a good year and a half, finally got things back on track. And so this last year, I've been gradually projecting and just kind of doing it at my own time. But,
and don't sweat that at all, David. The alcohol thing, I've had that problem myself, and trust me, I like to make my own acronym here. It gives you an out of balance experience. I mean, trust me, that stuff is
Exactly.
it's awful. It's
well,
awful.
that's what I would think.
Exactly.
Yeah, with the astral projection, you have to be able to meditate and get yourself into that certain state of mind. And if you're under the influence of alcohol, you're not going to be able to control that.
Yeah, and you're just going to pass right on through into sleep, and you're going to be unconscious. And, I'm not saying that alcohol is going to completely negate your experience. You're never going to be able to experience an OBE. Yes, you can, but it renders that ability to have a successful projection and being able to do it clear-minded. And, what was Stephen was saying earlier about, putting yourself into a meditative state or just relaxing and watching yourself fall asleep into that trance state and then making a clean exit. That's how I perform that. With alcohol, yeah, you're gone. You're just going to override all that, and you're just going to sail right on through.
You hit the nail on the head because you said it drops you down from that state right into sleep. That hit the nail on the head. And we do have a question here real quick from chat. Megan is asking, when you astral travel, do you remember what you did, or sometimes you don't remember?
In my experiences from beginning to the very end, I remember everything in detail.
Wow.
Everything. One of the experiences earlier in my OBE career back in, I think, 89, 1990, around there, and we're talking, I was just on fire. When I learned how to actually project and how to put myself into that trance state, and I'll tell you, I think I am the luckiest SOB to be able to do this, because I know so many people that just can't.
They can't.
I don't know why I can. I can just produce these.
I try not to piss myself.
Kind of like at will, and other people are struggling, but it all comes down to about that first experience with what I told you, everything in detail. As I grew with my experiences, and I will allude to the question here, my experiences were like, maybe 5-10 seconds out, and then they kept growing longer and longer and longer. Before you know it, I'm out for a good half an hour to 45 minutes. And I could remember everything from beginning to end. And I remember the longest experience that when I projected, when I got back, I knew I projected. I could not remember for the life of me. And I was just so fearful that I lost something so great.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty bummed out on that. And then all I remember is, I'm like, okay, well, hopefully this comes to me. I went into the restroom, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and bam, something triggered one sparkle of memory, how I projected, and then everything just flooded in. It's like the gates just opened. And before you know it, I was just writing for literally hours. I'm like, I can't do this. And then I'm like just grabbing the tape recorder and just narrating the whole thing. And then after when I was said and done, and then when I properly formatted it, mind you, my experiences in the beginning were like a couple of lines. Yeah, was able to roll out of the bed, see this, pull it back. We're talking 8 pages, front, back, full of my adventure, my experience.
So I've got to ask, this is a personal question for me. So when a person gets to that state, and like I said earlier, I tried, but I wet myself. It's very hard for me to focus. You have to have beyond patience. You have to be in a Zen-like state. You and there's another person, Alan Bodkin. Those are the only two that I've ever heard ever successfully do this that we've had on the program. But when you project, now, can you choose where you want to go, or do you just go with the flow and you kind of visit? So you can literally leave the planet. You can go galaxies upon galaxies away, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Or you can just go next door.
Wherever you want to go, past, present, future, to the other side of the galaxy, anywhere, there's no limit.
Okay, so in doing this, when you're out of your body, obviously it's not a physical experience, it's a spiritual experience. So you are literally exceeding any law whatsoever on space and time. It just becomes one unit. You're going wherever. It becomes an energetic travel, a spiritual travel. What are some of the things that you've seen? I mean, some of there has to be some amazing things that you've seen, or or I don't know if you see with your eyes, but that where you projected. Where did you go? What's some of your favorite places?
Well, now that I live in Las Vegas, I projected. I'm trying to find that that number.
That number, lucky number 7.
Yeah, come on. No, lately my experiences are, I guess you could say, like, kind of boring, because all I want to do is get out, and then I just want to sit on a park bench and just watch things around me. And if you can have that type of discipline and that type of consciousness and stay in that setting, that is cool. That's very powerful, because you can just absorb everything around you, and it's just so beautiful. Now, and here's the one thing with astral projection, as I express past, present, future, different dimensions, higher levels, planes, whatever you want to call them, you can go to. It is difficult for the mind to grasp, and there's times that I have difficult understanding it, and it just seems like it's a dream or far-fetched reality. Mm-hmm. But you got to be in it, wholehearted, 100% conscious to experience it, to really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Now, one of my first experiences, and I tell you, I was really, really scared at the time. I was testing the speed of flight with the astral body. And so it started off in my mom's house, because, this is where I was living at the time physically. And so I projected, and then I was flying around the neighborhood, and then I'm like, let's test the speed to see how fast I can go. So I started to fly upward, and then before you know it, I'm in the clouds. And before you know it, almost like instantly, I'm looking back, and I'm seeing this big, beautiful world, the physical planet, Earth. And then before you know it, I'm flying past the moon, and I'm like, I'm going a little too fast, and then, whoosh, I'm in this complete spiraled galaxy, millions and millions of stars just lit up, and I'm just absolutely, my mouth's dropped down.
Holy
I'm shaking
peyote.
like a leaf, and just blown away, but also scared at the same time, because literally, when you're out there by yourself, you're open game, and I'm like, I'm just a little too far. I went way too fast, and so, I'm like, I gotta get back here. How the heck do I get back? I don't even know where to start. And so I'm clicking my magical ruby astral red slippers, and I'm closing my eyes. Let me back. And then I open my eyes back 10 seconds later, think I'm back, home, physical, NEM. No, I'm back still in that scene.
Whoa.
And I'm still, totally freaking out here. And so for about 30 seconds to a minute, I kept trying to do everything. And it's just, everything's just beautiful, spiral, galaxies, like you see in movies and pictures. And I'm like, okay, calm down. Just relax, Dave. And as I did that, as I relaxed, I'm like, okay, I'm like, return. Then I got a hold of my senses. Then I immediately reversed back to where I came from. So we're passing the moon, seeing the earth, clouds, ground, bam, back in the body.
Holy cow. That's massive.
Okay, well, real quick question here I've wondered about. Now, like, say you have a relative on the other side of the country. Could you direct yourself and go to that relative's house and see them? And, second part real quick, is there any way you could communicate with them? Make them see you or hear you? Or are you just a spirit?
Excellent questions. Okay. First one, looking on, relatives, loved ones, it's been documented. I read quite a bit of experiences, like, with soldiers, who are in combat, who are in the war, or who are dying, or, are missing loved ones. And there is definitely that, part of us that will travel to that loved one that, you can connect with. And, I mean, there's a lot more to it, but, I have read that, and as for firsthand experience, yes, you could definitely say I'm going to draw on one experience that will pretty much hit this on the head here. I was back in Granville, Michigan. And
hold that thought 1 second, David. Hold that thought. We're going to skip off to a quick break. When we come back, David's going to finish this question. Can you communicate with relatives? Can you see them? That's an amazing question. That is an amazing question. HauntedVoices.com. Log in to chat. Post your final questions. You're listening to Haunted Voices Radio right here. WGOG Digital Broadcasting. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WGOG Digital Broadcasting. Get lost in the realm of thrilling mystery with the Mojo series by Chris Cedarstein. Follow 6 small-town teenagers who decide to make a ghost hunting documentary and become blindly thrown into a world of haunting chills they were not expecting in Lost Mojo. Or follow college student Scotty Brown, who is aggressively haunted by vivid nightmares and daytime apparitions. As he begins to search for answers, he puts himself and those closest to him face to face with pure evil. Can he defeat these malevolent beings with a small team of paranormal investigators? Find out in her second title, Mojo. The Mojo series is available on paperback or digital download on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold. The Mojo series by Chris Cedarstein. Get your copies today if you've got the Mojo.
A paranormal investigator who's refused every TV show offered, except for Divorce Court, Worst Cooks in America, and To Catch a Predator. It's Todd Bates with Phil Roll on Haunted Voices Radio.
Haunted, a psychic story by author and radio host Ariel Grace. This is not your average book of hauntings. Haunted, a psychic story is written from a psychic perspective and contains true stories and some handy tips. Written in 3 parts, Haunted, a Psychic Story contains chilling adventures, advice from the archangels, and helpful tips used by Ariel Grace to clear haunted homes around the globe. Haunted, a Psychic Story is available on Amazon, or you can download straight to your Kindle. Haunted, a Psychic Story by Ariel Grace. Get your copy today.
.47 minutes past the hour. Haunted Voices Radio Live right here, WGOG Digital Broadcasting. We're speaking with our guest this hour, David Warner. We're discussing astral projection. Amazing topic here. And we're learning a great deal. Unearthly kind of things going on here. This is amazing. Now, if you missed the show, don't worry. Everything's archived. HauntedVoices.com. You can catch it right there. And listen to us on iHeart. Download the iHeart Radio app free of charge, and just search After Hours AM. You'll see Haunted Voices Radio right there on iHeart on the After Hours AM channel. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. We'll have the show uploaded there usually within the next 24 hours. We'll have it uploaded there, so subscribe, download the latest episode there. Of course, this will be episode number 16, and if you're already subscribed, it'll notify you, let you know, ding, ding, we have arrived. Now, before the break, Phil had an amazing question asking David, if he can travel, visit relatives, things like that, and if you can communicate when you astral project. And David here is going to answer it. Let him have it, David.
Okay, so what came to mind is two experiences. There was a time I was actually in bed, and I had just got out of work, and mind you, I was like working nights, and I remember specifically I was falling to sleep, and I wound up in the trance state. Or actually, I wound up in a false awakening, which I thought I was up physically, but I was actually acting out an astral projection, and not realizing that I was out of body. And so I remember looking up, opening my eyes, and my wife opened the door. She came over to me, and she's looking down, and immediately I returned back to the body. And no more than about 5-10 seconds later, here she is coming through the door, and we're now back in the physical world, not the astral. And she's coming back, and she comes right up to me. She's looking at me, and she kisses me, and gets in bed, and that's it. And I'm thinking, are you serious? And to answer your question, can you actually project to the future and see people? Yes, because I've had this happen many, many different times with different events, experiences. Another experience, again, I was taking a nap, and I remember specifically we were having our niece over our home. I knew she was coming, but I didn't know when, the time, or anything like that. And, of course, she came into the home, or I had woke up or something like that in the astral, false awakening, not realizing it, and for some reason she came into the room, and I'm looking at her, and then bam, I'm back in the body. And then physical, I wake up, no more than about 5-10 seconds later, she's knocking on the door, opening, and I'm like, are you kidding me? So there's that little encounter of being able to see that precognitive. And this might be able to align with what was asked earlier in the chat rooms about visiting or seeing other people. And so, yes, you can definitely see other people in the astral because it's close to the physical plane. So you're going to get that bleed through of that.
Okay, what I was wondering, though, too, is if you visit somebody and you see those people, is there any way, because you're in a spiritual form, is it like a ghost or a spirit, is there any way you can make them know you're there, make them see you or hear you?
Okay, so great question, and this is what I feel, and especially from many, many experiments that I've conducted, is that I'm able to put myself into a trance state, and then I would have, my wife next to me, and she'd be hanging on to me, during the night, and I would put myself in the trance state, and then I would have these vibrations that would flow through my body from head to toe. And these vibrations, sometimes they're not nice. It's like being electrocuted with 1,000 watts, or even long, or more. I mean, it's just extremely painful. About that time, paralysis comes in, and then the fear mounts, and then you're yelling and screaming at the top of your lungs, literally trying to, and your spouse or my wife is hanging, just sleeping instead of night. Nothing. No word. No, nothing. So I exit the body. I'm throwing things around. Nothing. And one of my other experiments, I actually caught myself on videotape quite a few times. And trust me, this took months and months and months and years to perfect, to where I could do like a 3-4 camera video system on my physical body at different angles, overhead, bird's eye view, left, right, the length of the bed, to where I was able to record myself entering that state. And on video, nothing. But, on the other side, I'm going through the experiment and just trying to trash the room, fly around, yell, scream, everything. Nothing would show up on the video. I even took it a step further, where I actually put a stethoscope that I cut, and I put a microphone into the stethoscope.
Oh, wow.
To monitor my heart rate during this experiment. And my heart rate is just slow, calm, relaxed, just a slow heartbeat during sleep. But on the other side, I'm seeing myself and I'm seeing the room, and I'm just trying to do everything I can possibly can to make some kind of contact. I've even tried attempts and other experiences picking up the phone, an Astral phone, and dialing, 911 or whatever, or calling my number, or calling a friend, leaving a voice message, on their answer machine. Nothing. So I do believe we see that bleed through from the physical into the astral, but trying to make contact, I don't think I am that good enough to be able to do that. And if I think I am able to get to that level or to make contact with somebody, I'll probably be arrested and thrown in jail for, for voyeurism. But, that would be incredible.
Well, listen.
I do think and feel that it can be done, from a different, spiritual being, maybe an angel or of sort, but from a physical from astral and back, that's left to be said. I mean, I've read the other people's experiences, that they've seen loved ones and what have you. But personally, for me, I've tried everything in the book that I could think of, experimentation-wise, and with the equipment and the hardware that I had, and I wasn't able to penetrate that surface.
Well, I mean, if anybody can do it out there, it's definitely got to be you, David. And we only have a few minutes left here with you. I want to turn over the mic here to you for about 60 seconds here. Get out your information, website, how people can contact you. They're going to have questions on how they can get started doing this and things. Let them know. Let them know how they can get a hold of you.
Okay. Yes, my website is www.invisiblelight.us. That's INVISIBLELAGHT.US. You can just send me an info at invisiblelight.us. That'd be perfect. And I have all my data on the website for my journals over the years. I also have my video experiment audio recording, statistics, a little bit of information on a book that I've been working on for forever. But by June 12th, when I hit that big 50, and I'm working on a project right now that is going to be geared towards helping other people for health benefits and exercise in a different sense of physical. And so when I get to that point, then I should be able to start devoting my time just to writing, and that's where I need to separate that balance between technology, because back in the day when I started this book project, I was doing both. So I really need to wholeheartedly focus on that, and then when June 12th hits around, that project will definitely be spinning, and so then I can focus on this project.
Amazing. David, it was a pleasure having you back on the show. Of course, we're going to be in touch, my friend. Thank you so much for sharing your story, your experiences, and definitely your knowledge here on Haunted Voices Radio. Take care, David.
Yep, thank you. Have an excellent Wednesday. Or no, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah,
all of the above.
Have an excellent Tuesday. We'll see you in the future.
You bet, David. David Warner, everybody. Be sure and check out his website, invisiblelight.us. That's invisiblelight.us. Oh, my goodness. That was crazy, Phil. makes you just want to go. Far, far away, boldly go where no man has astral traveled before.
Well,
now,
it's such a fascinating thought that
it
you
is.
can do that.
It is.
I can remember years ago being really interested in that and laying in bed at night trying to do that, waiting for something to happen. But
it takes,
I was pretty young. I was a kid, and when nothing happened fast, I got frustrated, But
yep, you definitely have to have the patience for it. But keep trying, and you can learn a lot of these techniques that David uses. A lot of you in chat, I asked in there, Phil, if they've traveled before. All of them said yes, they have done it. Cindy, Rebecca, Megan, she wants to try it. Now, there's a lot of people that have been there, done that. They've astral traveled. Phil and I aren't one of them. When we think of astral travel, trust me, him and I think of a whole new topic there, folks, whole new meaning.
To us, astral travel is when you need to take some Pepto-Bismol or something.
Yep, that involves some Tums.
Yeah.
Now, remember, next week we'll be talking with Reverend John Polk, who holds that bachelor's degree in metaphysics from the University of Sedona. Now, the university granted John the title of International Metaphysical Minister after his studies were completed. Now, John is also a Reiki master and an instructor in USO. I hope that's pronounced correctly, Reiki. Now, he is the founder of Wolf Spirit Ministries, LLC. Now, in addition to all of this, John was gifted with the ability to channel and is a medium there. And during the second hour, we're going to be having returning guest Matthew Alper. We're going to be discussing the God part of the brain, why we believe in God, critical thinking. Great guest coming up next week right here at Haunted Voices, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter, folks, at HVR Host. That's HVR Host. Now, we're getting tens of ones of followers now. And be sure to give us a like on Facebook /Haunted Voices. That's simple. Now, the fan page there, we put a lot of great things on there. We'd love to have you contribute to that as well. If you want us to post something here, email it to us. Producer@hauntedvoices.com. And, of course, we want to know what you like about the show, what you didn't like as well. If you have a guest suggestion or you'd like to be a guest, we'd love to have you. Now, we talk about all things strange, bizarre, paranormal, doesn't matter. We'll talk about anything on the program. Email our producer, Beverly, producer@hauntedvoices.com. Don't forget about the Honest Review iTunes. Subscribe. Listen to a program over there. Put an honest review. You could win a $50 gift card. That drawing for that is going to be May 30th, and the contest ends May 29th. So get over there. Subscribe. Tell your friends. Search Haunted Voices Radio on iTunes. Phil and I will see you next week. Until then, have an amazing week, folks.
Good night, everybody.